Well, good morning, everybody. I friends and I think my friends and my friendly acquaintances have probably heard the bad news that I got with in about a week and a half ago that I have terminal brain cancer, and I think I walked around for a week or so in numb resignation, first shocked, and now I would say I'm in a state of numb resignation. So I'm wondering how would a guy cope with this? What kind of a maybe chronicle can I leave? And I think I just want to show what my life normally would be during the summer, and I want to try to adhere to it for as I guess you would say the schedule for as long as I can. So I'm going to come over here to the. I usually start the day off at the fire station, and let's see if what's going on here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fire station.
I think you guys might know who that is. That's my granddaughter, Mary. She comes over here and helps me quite frequently. This fire station was built around 1898. We'll have to go out and check the exact date at a cost of $160,000, which in today's money would be $2 million. So it's 25 to 1 for every $1 today, or that's been a couple of years ago. It's probably even more now with the inflation. For every $1 in 1913, it would be $25 today. So there's an upstairs and a downstairs, and this fire station is probably about 95% original. Same, doesn't look much different than the first day you walked into it, except the paint is fresher. So what do? First thing on my list, make sure that I check the cash box just to make sure there's there's enough change for the people who come in here. It's $5 a head to get in for adults, and children under 17 under free. We also have Mary's in charge. She handles the animals, feeds and waters them.
This is the Dalmatian. His name is Boney, and he's gonna have his puppy today.
Today?
Yes.
Yeah, they keep having puppies over here,
Yes.
and we're quite concerned whether we can house them all. What you're looking at right now is a rather interesting truck. It's a 1942 Ford. Now, Ford Motor Company built thousands of these. You often see them in documentaries. I remember the first time I've seen this truck was in a documentary on Pearl Harbor, and I would imagine, I would hazard a guess that some of these trucks are still functional in some remote island somewhere in New Guinea or someplace, probably still functional. And maybe if not as a fire truck, still running, but they're very, very good trucks. Why is this here? Why would a old hearse be here? Well, I don't know if you guys I'm writing that book about the Italian Hall, where 77 people, many of whom were children, died in a stampede on December 24th, 1913 at a Union auxiliary party. I do have throat problems, so if you could bear with me sometimes when I have some clearing problems, it would be deeply appreciated. It goes with the reality of what I am today. But anyway, this may or may not have served on Christmas Eve night, 1913, to haul the bodies, the 77 bodies from the Italian Hall to the city town hall, which was quickly converted into a temporary morgue. And they brought the bodies so that the families could identify them. But that's why this is in here. We're not in the hearse business, but it says circa 1900 funeral wagon, similar to wagons used at the funeral procession. Following the Italian Hall 1913 tragedy, Calumet's most severe fire event. Now, there are those who allege there was no fire there, and that it was never a fire event, but actually a stampede caused by someone yelling fire. And, we always hear you have the person on the right until someone shouts fire in a crowded theater. Well, this is the exact kind of thing you're talking about. One of the most interesting pieces in this place, I find, is this Atlantic mine pumper. So this is where a fire pumper that was used in the copper mines. And what happens here is that men or citizens, women, anybody, kids, since you have no electricity and you have no power, they would grab these bars and they'd start pumping water from a creek or whatever reservoir. And here's another interesting thing. This big ball on here, it looks like a bowling ball, but actually a solid metal. That was for ballast. It needed weight so that when everybody's lifting in an excited fire situation, lifting up and down on it, they wouldn't tip it over. So it's very, very heavy and very interesting because of the ballast. But to think that this thing is from roughly around 1857, now that's, 3 or 4 years before the Civil War. Now, here's another piece that I find quite amazing, and the great thing about this museum is kids can climb on stuff. We'll show you what else they can do. They can pretend they're driving fire trucks. They don't have to worry about scratching. These were trucks, when they originally created, these are tough vehicles that were made to withstand a lot of abuse. But if you see, not only could they put the fire extinguishers or the hoses or whatever they needed, axes, they would have sideboards that the firemen could ride on. And they were sleighs for winter use. You can see where can't recall what they call it there, for the horses that they hooked to. And artistry, some really nice artistry. This was made locally and really a fine piece. Now here would be a sort of a regular version of fire wagon in that, but with wheels. So now Mary's showing a Calumet Township fire truck. Probably early 50s, 53, 54, 55. I don't know exactly what it is.
Okay, and here's a secret seat back here. I'm going to go show you the other side.
Okay. This was originally used in Calumet Township Fire Department, but I think I remember somebody saying that it was possibly owned and used first by the copper company. Now what they had is a rather interesting relationship between them. It was very mutual aid. They helped each other. They had their own police department. The city had its own police department. But in times of riots or major criminal like strikes, they closely cooperated. Now here is what they call Grandma. Grandma was from 1930, purchased in April 1930 at a cost of $11,500, and it served in Lorium. It was originally bought for and served in Lorium, which is a nearby town. And then we have this is Calumet and Hecla Mining Company, and you'll see why it has a mate. It has a twin. Now Mary's going to show you the hand siren. This is one. This is one of the big things of this museum, is that kids can actually fool around and ring bells and sirens and climb on the trucks and pretend to be driving a real fire truck. Now, this is the other truck's Calumet. It says Calumet Fire on it, but this was bought in 1919, and it says Calumet Fire Department, but originally it read Red Jacket Fire Department. That was the name of the town until they changed it. I think they changed it in the late 20s. The primary difference is the city unit has a windshield because it would drive around the streets responding to fires. Or its twin, not identical twin, but fraternal twin, didn't have a windshield because this thing was primarily used inside the mines. Now, I want to show you something that's quite interesting here. Mary's taking care of she has a lot of responsibilities taking care of the puppies and all that.
We also might do a puppet show.
Oh, yes. Many times, Mary and the dogs, they like to provide entertainment and they do their own puppet shows. And it's a lot of work. Now, I'm going to show you something that this is a recent addition here. Is a 1927 Buddy Yell fire toy. And this is no cheap China knockoff. It's very hard, heavy. And somebody's family was nice enough to donate it in honor of a former firefighter. And I looked up what it's worth, and it's on eBay. They have two of them, and they're $1,295. So anyway, we like to make this sweet and short, not long and sour. I try to keep active. I try to keep thinking about everything. I said we go up there and check in there. The fire station is 1898, so I'm going to try to maintain as long as I can, business as usual, and not sit around and feel sorry for myself. So anyway, I'm calling these vignettes. I forget what I'm calling it. Okay.